Do you know what? Given your tomfoolery with my internet, it probably was you. Listeners, we lived together in college, and I can't tell you the amount of pain I was put through with Bill messing with, like, everything possible that could be messed with on my laptop.
I did only some of those things.
I'm only thankful, Bill, that during college, I only had one internet-enabled device, right? That you could only mess with one thing. If I had a smartphone, it would have been like Groundhog Day. Like every day, come home to like the same stuff happening on my... you're so infuriating sometimes.
But you love me.
I do. Okay, so we do the same thing as last time?
As in we talk about the Irish YouTubers Conference and we talk about Starship Mine.
And we talk about Starship Mine. I think we should probably tell the listeners that this is our second recording.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because like lots of the sort of funniness from the first recording won't come across.
Yeah.
So we should probably do this. So do you want to start?
Okay.
As in from now, this point on, this is official podcast.
Okay, clap. There we go.
Great.
Sorry, was that really loud on you?
No, it's fine. No, it's not at all. Yeah, so I think, Bill, we should let the people know that we have a bit of a secret.
Well, that's not really how secrets work, but I agree in principle.
But honesty is always the best policy, you know? Our little secret is that this is our second recording of episode 3. Because the first recording was doomed to failure because Edgar had a bit of a massive systems crash. And we lost about an hour of recording?
An hour and a half, thereabouts.
Yeah, which was unfortunate because I actually quite liked what we had done.
Yeah, no, we did some good work that day.
Yeah.
And now we only have half of it because my recording remains intact, but without Edgar's dulcet tones, it's a bit rubbish, really, isn't it?
Dulcet tones. So, I suppose to start off, I was in Google a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for the Irish YouTubers Creators Day.
Should I act this as, like, though you haven't told me already, or...
No, double down on sarcastic, I already know this, but go on, sure, anyways.
Okay.
No, as in, like, we may as well play up to the fault that we have, you know?
Okay, are you going to put that bit in as well? Because that would be really funny.
Do you want to leave that bit in?
It's up to you. See how it sounds
We'll
in
leave
the
it
end.
in. We'll leave it in. We'll go for a really sort of informal approach to episode 3.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was at the Irish YouTubers Creators Day conference.
Oh.
In Dublin, and essentially it was kind of like VidCon for Irish people.
VidCon being like a video con of some sort, or a YouTube con, I assume.
Yeah, it's the big YouTube con in the States.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so it was really good, and I thought we might speak about this again today.
Certainly. I'd love to have my memory refreshed on this topic.
This is true. So I don't know if people are familiar with how these sort of conventions go, but it was just basically an entire day, like an 8-hour day, I suppose, of talking about life on YouTube, how to excel at YouTube, and, you know, how to make your channel as good as it can be.
Okay.
Which was very interesting, but I left there feeling really happy and at the same time really pessimistic about Artifexian on the internet.
Oh, why is that good?
From the day it became clear that YouTube is becoming ever more geared towards really fast, topical, short content.
Okay.
Which is 100% not what Artifexian is. So like it's really hard to do like topical world building. And it's really hard to do world building in a short, snappy sort of manner whereby it could go viral. The very nature of what I do is like unviral.
Yeah.
Yeah, and YouTube is constantly like changing its algorithm, changing the way it orientates itself to accommodate for those videos that play up to the virality of things.
Right.
Yeah, so, and this became increasingly clear when we had professionals from the inside of YouTube go through our stats and our data on our channels, and it became increasingly clear that YouTube is not a place, it's not really a place for education, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, because, I mean, I know from my job, which is teaching music, that I have a lot of people who do kind of learn things off YouTube. Like, people do kind of seem to want that out of the resource.
Obviously, there is educational content on YouTube.
But it's not geared toward, like, as a platform, it's not well geared towards that.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like a good example would be, you know, the way if you have a course, say I run a course in, I don't know, how to write a great novel.
Okay.
And it's a 5-part series. So I have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Say I stumble across part 1 on YouTube. In the recommended section at the side of the page, rarely ever will they recommend the rest of the course.
Yes, okay.
You know, and like I'm sure everyone has experienced this on YouTube, where you have part 3, you're watching part 3, and you're looking at the side, trying desperately to find part 4, but part 4 isn't there yet. Part 5 and part 6, for example, all are.
Yeah.
And that's just another way they don't gear towards content that has a long arc to it. You know, it's geared towards, you know, one-off videos and quick one-off videos.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Like, I knew these things, but to have it, like, pointed out to me by experts made me just kind of feel like, Jesus, Artifexian probably won't ever become, like, big. Big.
Well, I mean, you're doing pretty okay for yourself at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 100% not snubbing what I have. This is, what I have at the moment is mind-blowing. Like, I think I told you before that if I could get through year 1 with about 1,000 subscribers, it would be like a serious achievement.
Yeah.
And like now we've just crossed the year threshold and I'm just shy of 5,000, which is a 5x improvement on my wildest goals, like.
Yeah.
So I'm not snubbing it for like at all. But the serious numbers, like the millions upon millions, I think such a niche topic and such a niche educational topic won't ever like come to the fore on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is seriously unfortunate, you know?
Yeah, but and I mean this is what I said to you the last time we talked about this, but you do have goals. You do have other goals. There's like an artistic goal to what you're doing as well. That is, you know, YouTube's aims are to promote a certain kind of content, and your content is different, and you have an artistic kind of aim with the content you produce, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I just kind of wish that YouTube would be more catering towards different type of content, you know?
Yeah, that it was more flexible.
That was more flexible. Like, and this is why you have like competitors, coming to the fore. Like Curious.com is essentially a video site that's just solely dedicated to educational purposes.
Yeah.
And I think Yahoo wants to launch a competitor to YouTube, and I'm sure they'll try and exploit the areas in which YouTube is weak. So this is a thing that people have realized, but just YouTube doesn't seem to want to do anything about it, which is kind of weird.
And then of course there's other websites that are like solely educationally based, stuff like Khan Academy.
Right, of course, yeah, but I think you're not going to get the same viewership on the likes of Khan.
No,
because
that's fair.
If you explicitly state that this channel is education, that can kind of like, you know, drive people away. Mm-hmm. But if it's kind of fun and jokey and kind of like, oh, you do learn something along the way, then that can draw people in, you know?
Yeah.
And again, not dissing Khan Academy. Khan Academy is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great website.
Yeah, so it is really, really good.
I remember, I think in about 2 days, I did an entire art history module on Khan Academy.
How was your art history module?
Yeah, it was fascinating. It was
really?
I learned so much from it.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it was just like introduction to basic concepts and talking about materials.
Cool.
And I learned loads, and even from a world building point of view, I learned things, and I learned stuff about like how to look at art, because I don't really know a lot about art. I have certain specific artists that I like and certain things that I like in art, but I don't know how to read a canvas. I'm not good at looking at the symbolism and stuff in paintings or in sculpture. But I learned quite a lot even from like the first segment of the art history course on Khan Academy.
Cool. I always found I was always intrigued to see how Khan Academy fared away from stuff that can be done on a blackboard, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like in particular maths. Like Khan Academy is like, you know, it is maths. It's renowned for its maths. And I've only ever done maths courses on Khan Academy, so it's particularly interesting. This is something I want to do at a later stage. I want to take their more obscure courses.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just actually checking their website now. They do they do computer programming courses?
They do. This is a new thing on Khan, yeah.
Brilliant, because there's a couple of things I want to learn for music reasons. A couple of languages I want to learn. So I'm going to check right now and see if they offer those ones. Computer programming. JavaScript. Oh, it looks like it's mostly Java.
Okay, is that I don't know much about computer programming. I assume that's the easy one to get into.
I don't really know, but it's a very common one anyway. So I'm looking to learn C#.
Right.
At some stage. It'll be like a summer project maybe, or there's lots of, I'm thinking of maybe over the summer devoting a month or maybe 6 weeks at a time and just really putting a lot of time into various music software programs, including kind of more programmy ones.
Cool. I think it's a bit
we'll see if it happens.
I think it's a bit of a shame that we aren't taught how to program in school.
Yeah.
The more I do stuff on the internet, the more I realize I do need to be able to write scripts. Even say setting up the subreddit. Now, I know it's not serious coding or anything, but it requires you to write scripts to orientate your banner and to get the snoo in the correct place, and to have custom buttons and things like that. And these are all things I can't do at all. And it just seems like really basic stuff that really everyone should be able to do.
Yeah, that's true. But in our day, at least in my school, there wasn't anyone who would have had the knowledge to teach that,
Yeah, but we have moved on quite a bit. My sister at the moment, she's 15, so she's still going through the middle of education, and computer programming, it's so far beyond the horizon. It's not going to arrive anytime soon,
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Although my old secondary school recently won the award for Digital School of the Year, I think.
Oh, really?
Irish Digital School of the Year.
You went to a virtual secondary school? That's brilliant.
Just that they have good IT programs, and I remember when I was in transition year there. For the non-Irish people, that's a sort of a gap year you take in school between your first set of exams and actually your leaving exams.
Yeah, this is high school.
Yeah. So it's kind of a gap year before you start the senior end of high school, and we had a CAD program, which was pretty great.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was in one of the first classes to do CAD in the school.
That's super advanced, by the standards I experienced. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
Huh. Anyhow, once again, Bill and Edgar have gotten seriously derailed. Do you want to go back to talking about Google?
I do want to go back to talking about Google. So tell me more about the actual format of the day.
Yeah, so what happened was it was a fairly early start. I think it started at for me it started at 7 in the morning because I had to commute in.
Right.
But the day started at about 11, I think. Okay. About that, yeah.
But it was 4 hours to get from the captains to get to Google.
No, I spent a good bit of time in town locating a nice microphone and buying a hot pink Nintendo DS.
Okay, can we put a pin in that and come back to that later?
We will. To summarise, I had a bit of extra time which I spent at my leisure before 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So yeah, we showed up and there was, it was a crazy amount. It's 400 people at this, which is mental because it's not just 400 random members of the public. You had to have an active YouTube channel to be allowed to get in.
Yeah.
So there's 400 YouTubers, which is just blew my mind because I still think of Ireland as a very untechy place, which is kind of bad considering we have Google headquarters here. But I expected there to be 50 people tops, but there's 400, and I couldn't believe it. The queue outside stretched around the block, which was mental. And watching that many people all vlog the day was crazy.
Wow.
It looked like the zombie apocalypse, just people slowly walking, holding phones and cameras out in front of them. But yeah, so we arrived, we queued, we got security clearance, which was pretty cool. We got a little scanny badge. So for one day I had security clearance to the headquarters of Google for Europe, Africa and the Middle East, which is just class. And then the day just was a load of talks, a load of tech talks, a lot of talks from famous Irish YouTubers who do quite well and finding out their methods and how they do things. There was, what else was there? There was free food, which was cool.
Always good.
Always good. And unlimited free food on tap. I had 2 Carvery dinners. It was awesome. And all the coffee you wanted. Oh, you want some really expensive coffee? That's okay. Have as much as you like. It's Google. It's fine. It was great.
Wow.
But yeah, and let me see. Well, I don't know what else. Oh, there was Artifexian was displayed on a rather large screen in Google, which is quite interesting.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was really
It's a
cool.
little achievement.
I know, right? And you know what they did? They color corrected my videos. They looked even better on the big screen than they do when I make them. And I was like, oh, I want to know your secret. How do you get that white looking so white?
Oh, like as in the background of your animations.
Yeah, they just ran some color correction thing, and it just everything looked a little bit crisper. If you notice my videos, they're like slightly blue tinged. Because
Is it a blue tinge?
yeah, it's like a blue.
The early ones are slightly yellow tinged, I think.
Yeah, the early ones are slightly yellow tinged because the early ones I didn't understand what color correction was, and that was literally how the footage came raw out of the camera. And these ones, like, I color correct to try and get optimal white inside of Final Cut. And it looks absolutely fine in Final Cut, and even when I export the master file. But then it must be a compression thing, because then when I put it onto YouTube, the white turns into like this grey blue. So if anyone has experience with color correction, like advanced color correction, please email me, because I want to know these things, because it's kind of driving me a little bit nuts that they can get a perfect white and I can't.
Silly question. But just to make sure we're on the same page, color correction is exactly what it sounds like, yeah?
Yeah, you alter the RGB values. So you try and get a white that's actually white, so you don't have a tip towards the red end of things or the blue or the green.
Yeah. I suppose my next question was going to be, it's definitely an artifact of the video rather than something to do with your screen, and have you tried it on various different screens? But then since you do Final Cut on your own screen and it looks white, then yeah, it logically couldn't be just your screen.
Yeah, and I've seen my videos on other people's laptops as well, and they come out exactly the same.
Right.
So I don't know what it is. I have no idea. When I shoot the videos, they're always exposed correctly. So like on my camera is telling me that my balance is correct, and my exposure is absolutely perfect. But for some reason, it just still comes out bluey grey. No idea. And it bugs me. It bugs me.
So you roll up into Google headquarters at 11 o'clock, and there are 400 Irish YouTubers there.
There are.
Was there anyone that I'd recognise there? Any like kind of Irish YouTubers, like anyone from kind of the comedy scene or that?
Well, the big YouTubers on the panels were Jacksepticeye. Do you know him?
He a Let's Player?
He's a Let's Player. He's a gamer, yeah.
I've seen one video of his.
What did you think?
Let's Plays aren't really my kind of thing. It's not something I enjoy watching anyway.
Okay.
It's, I don't know, I'd rather play games than watch someone on YouTube play them. I get kind of impatient and distracted. And also the affect of them isn't something I'm particularly interested in. Like, they're very high energy. And they're very kind of constant high energy. But it was fairly entertaining. It was, I can't remember the name of the game. It was like Castaway or something like that. It was on a desert island.
Okay.
And he seemed to be having a lot of fun. He punched a shark. Yeah, it made the game look pretty fun, so that's something.
Yeah, I same reasons as you. I don't particularly like watching Let's Plays. The only ones I will watch are the ones that are low octane. They're not like pumped up all the time, you know?
Yeah.
There's one guy, Karalis. He's he's Polish, but he lives in Sweden, I think.
Okay.
And his ones, he does a lot of Minecraft stuff, or at least he did do a lot of Minecraft stuff. He seems to have changed recently, but his Minecraft stuff was really calm. It was lots about, like, you know, the quality of his building in Minecraft, and it was very much an artistic sort of thing.
Yeah.
With hardly any shouting, you know, which was great, because I can't deal with the energy of gaming videos.
I can see that suiting Minecraft, because I mean, I haven't played it in a long time, but from when I did play quite a bit of it, it could often be quite a sort of a calming, meditative experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I often found it really weird when people did do Let's Plays and it was like manic. And I just couldn't understand. I was like, this is not what the game's about. I don't think I've ever felt impatient and manic within Minecraft.
Yeah, maybe manic that time that I was on the shared server and some griefers found our huge Masonic hall that we'd built and set it on fire. And we came back like 8 hours later, the next day or something. To this destruction, and it was irrevocable. That was That was pretty sad.
Yeah, I feel for you, man. Well, Jacksepticeye was one. The other guy was a guy called Dahi Denogla,
Don't know him.
who is another gamer as well. And then the third girl was a girl called, the only girl, but the third person on the panel was a girl called Melanie Murphy, who is a sort of new Irish YouTube star. She's only been around for about a year, and she clocked up like 200,000 subscribers. And
Wow.
yeah, she's doing really, really well. She does like beauty. She has a beauty channel, effectively.
Okay.
So they were the three ones. They were all. I don't like any of the channels that they do. Like I'm not into my beauty, and I'm not into gaming that much. But they were all really lovely people, and they had some really good advice, and they're very humble about their about how well they done on YouTube. So it was good. It was a lovely, friendly atmosphere. You know,
Nice.
it was good. It was good. Very good.
So there was panels then, like it was set up that there were how many panels throughout the day?
Yeah. So there was two panels. There was like the pro panel,
Okay.
which was the professional YouTubers, the big guys, and then there was like a rising star panel. And this featured Irish YouTubers that were significantly smaller in terms of like views and subscriber counts, but were seen to be the next generation of up and coming people. To be honest, I didn't know many of them on the channel because my thing, I do YouTube for education, so there was no educational representation there, so I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah, you're occupying a different niche.
I'm occupying a different niche, and I consume pretty much only that niche as well.
Right.
But there was, so the rising star people, there was a lot of comedy people there. There was one guy, I think, who was like a voice actor sort of thing. There was a vlogger, and there was like a singer-songwriter type thing.
Okay, cool.
So it was pretty diverse. I said this to you before. I would have liked there to be education there, but that aside, there was a pretty diverse representation of the different types of channels, which is great, because the worst thing you can have if it turns into a vlogging conference, and then you completely alienate the people who don't like vlogging, you know?
Yeah. I'm surprised there wasn't any like they didn't have like Foil Arms and Hog or someone like that there, because they've been pretty successful through YouTube, I thought.
Who's Foil? I'd never heard of these people. Who are they?
They're a sketch comedy group.
Are they Irish?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe they contacted them. Maybe they just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
You never
could
know.
be.
I must go look them up. Will you send me a link to that when we're done?
I will. Yeah. No, I haven't seen a lot of their stuff, but what I have seen is reasonably funny. So I'll lash something towards you later.
Cool, very good. Always interested in seeing new Irish talent. It's cool. So let me see what else. Oh yes, this is the important thing. So there was obviously at this conference this convention, there was a lot of chance to do networking. With other YouTubers and to set up collaborations and such. And again, me occupying the education niche, there isn't really room for me to do this with anyone else. And I'm really socially awkward anyway, so the prospect of having to talk to real people and like converse with strangers was just terrifying to me. So I spent my time trying to like bully my way into talking to the people on the inside of YouTube.
Okay.
And like trying to get their help and advice, and trying to like, be like, can you help me with things? Come on, like, is there something you can do? Can we make a deal? Can we do stuff? So at the end of the day, and I'm not going to give details just in case I'm not allowed to talk about it, but at the end of the day, I ended up getting to talk to one of these people on the inside, and we're trying to set up a thing where I will work with the people on the inside of YouTube in London for a little bit.
Great.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say anything else more than that because, again, I don't want to... One, I don't know if it's going to actually happen. People make a lot of promises and, like, mostly they never come true. And two, I'm not sure if I can talk about details. So that's all I can say on that.
Brilliant. Well, I won't interrogate you too much further about it, but would you say that's an indication that there is hope as regards YouTube as an educational platform, that there's, an interest has been taken, or that you've been given this opportunity?
I wouldn't say there's hope. Okay. I wouldn't say, like, YouTube is never going to become a pro education platform. It'll be a platform with education, but it's not going to be an educational platform.
Right.
But I think there is hope that there's hope within community, I think, here. Because I think what swayed the people on the inside of YouTube to actually can take my channel seriously, even with my relatively small number of subs, is that the community that I've kind of built has been really strong, and actually surprisingly strong, because when they looked at the data going through like how engaged the subscribers are, it was way above what they had expected.
Cool.
Yeah. So they were like, your almost your entire views are coming from your subscribers, which means that your subscribers are really loyal to you and your subject, which means your subject clearly has some sort of standing with these people. Ergo, we should be able to work with you a little bit.
Great.
Which is really cool.
And I mean, that's a credit to you, because you get involved in the comments and you respond, and you really have sort of fostered a community there.
Yeah, and the whole point of Artifexian is the community element, because the idea is I don't just put up videos and that's it. The idea is that I want people to come along on my journey trying to discover how to build like everything in a fictional universe. So at least I get this sense that it's very much a sort of like everyone's on the one ship and we're all going towards this destination, and we don't know how long it will take for us to get there, but it's the journey that's the really interesting part, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, thank you. That's really nice for you to say, actually, as well, that I'm involved in comments and things like that. I try.
Oh, no, you do. I mean, like, any of your videos, whenever there's an extra question, you seem to go into the comments and you seem to respond. Or whenever there's a dispute or something that needs to be cleared up, you step in and you say, well, this is what I was trying to do, and I'm happy to take correction. Or or sometimes you say, maybe I explained that wrong, and this is how it is. And yeah, you've created a nice atmosphere around Artifexian.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, again, I think this came across because the people on the inside seem to really appreciate what I've done. So yeah, it's good. It's good. So there is hope in community. Like, the only way Artifexian really is going to like prosper in the sort of more general sense is this sort of community building. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to go viral. People aren't going to stumble across me and be like, "Oh, world building! I totally know what this is." It's going to be a community driven project.
Yeah.
So I suppose just to close off on that note, I want to say thanks a lot to all the people that have clicked the subscribe button on my channel. You have wowed both me and experts in YouTube by your commitment. Which is just, no, it truly is amazing. And it blows my mind that like so many people want to watch me bang on about maths and astrophysics and fictional settings, you know? So thank you so much, guys. You are officially the best of us.
So tell me more about this little shopping trip you went on before YouTube.
The mic and DS, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, which one do you want to hear about first? The mic or the DS?
Tell me in chronological order.
Oh God, now you're testing me. The frailty of human memory. I think I went looking for the mic first.
Okay.
Yes, I did go looking for the mic first. I wanted to get myself a proper mic, so when I vlog, I'm not using the built-in mic on my camera.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I bought myself a shotgun mic, a Rode shotgun mic, which was quite reasonable in price.
And why can't you use the mic that you use for podcasting?
Oh, right, because that's a USB mic and there's no USB thing on the camera.
Okay, so you want to like sync it up right from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah. It's like the shotgun mic is the thing that clips into your camera, like it goes in tandem with the camera.
Oh, okay.
So that was good, and the quality seems quite good. The only problem is, and I didn't know this before buying it because I'm still learning as I go in terms of like tech and all that. When you put a mic, like a shotgun mic, into a DSLR camera, you get what's known as a DSLR hiss. And
right.
Oh my God, is it just the most terrible thing ever? It's so bad. So I spent, when I got home after the conference, I spent a good 3 hours or so trying to unravel the mysteries of how to remove the hiss in the audio. And I think I've got it. So the proof in the pudding will be the next vlog. We'll see how it works out.
Okay, so that covers the mic. Tell me more about the hot pink Nintendo DS.
Okay, so this was an ordeal, right? This was such an ordeal. I recently found out that they re-released Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, on the Nintendo, on the 3DS. And the Ocarina of Time was probably my favorite game growing up. Okay. And this was proper, like, you know, earth-shattering news that they re-released it, and I was like, right, okay, gotta get myself a DS, gotta play this game again. So I went into the shop, and I was like, I looked at the catalogue, and they had a selection of DSs, and I was like, all right, I'll go with this one because it's on offer. I get like 50 quid off, be great, and it's a nice white colour, wonderful. Went up to the counter and was like, can I have the white 3DS, please? And they're like, no, sorry, we're out of stock. I was like, oh, great, good. Can I get the grey one then? And they were like, and then they did a check, and they were like, no, sorry, no, we're out of stock. And then I went through every colour, right? Every colour they had on offer. And then eventually I just go, look, do you only have the pink one? You just tell me. And they were like, yeah, no, the only 3DS we have in stock is the pink one. And it's not even like, nice pink. It's like in your face hot pink, like ridiculous. So I had to buy the hot pink 3DS, which was unfortunate. And then I was like, great, can I get a charger please with this? Because I need to charge my Nintendo. And they were like, yeah, no, sorry, we don't have chargers in stock. And I was like, oh God, what? Really?
Wait, does it not get bundled with a charger?
No, you got to buy the charger separately.
That's stupid.
Oh, listen, don't get me started. It's awful. So I was like, where do I go to buy a charger if your shop does not have chargers? And they were like, oh, you can try GameStop, which is kind of like this gaming shop. Gaming and like rental and things like that. So I went there and I was like, have you guys got a charger for 3DS? And they were like, yeah, no, sorry, we're not in stock. And I was like, great. Can you point me to another one of your stores? And they were like, I doubt the rest of us will be in stock as well because we're waiting on shipment. And I was like, oh, that eliminates like 90% of the stores where I would go to get this charger. And so then they sent me to another place, and I walked around the city for like a good hour and a half going from store to store trying to find a charger for my 3DS. And eventually, after about an hour and a half, I finally got one, and I nearly hugged the clerk behind the counter. Like,
where did you get it in the end?
A place called HMV.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
on Grafton Street.
On the north side.
Is
it just
Henry Street?
Henry Street, yes. I'm not sure if the Americans listening will know what HMV is. Is this a global chain?
I'm pretty sure they have it in the UK at least. I don't know if they have it in the States or anywhere else.
Okay, well, so just for the sake of, we all know what we're speaking about, HMV is like a music store. Would you define it like that? It's like a music and games and films sort of shop.
Primarily music and films, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, so it was that sort of shop I ended up getting my charger in. But, like, 21st century, first world shouldn't take you, like, the guts of 2 hours to buy a Nintendo. Like,
no, it really, really shouldn't.
It wasn't great. But then I went home and then I downloaded Zelda and all was well in the world.
You can download games for the 3DS.
Yeah, man. We're, like, again, 21st century. Like, we have internet connection.
But I haven't played a handheld console since about 2003, so...
Actually, to be fair, the last handheld console I did play was the Game Boy Color.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going way back. But yeah, no, this is internet. It's an internet-enabled device and you can download games, which is great. Because the last thing I need in my life is cartridges and more clutter.
Yeah. Sorry, I tell a small lie there. I did get a bit into brain training on a DS for a while. My dad had a DS. And,
what did you think of brain training?
Diverting. Scientifically dubious.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say just a waste of time. Like, that game made me actually angry. Like, it made me... I'm not gonna rant, I promise, because I'll go off on one. But, like, I didn't like being made feel bad that I'm not intelligent by a scientifically dubious game, Like, that just really, really irked me.
I don't know, man. Sudokus are like the worldwide standard for intelligence now.
Yeah, that's true. You got to do a Sudoku to get into like Mensa and things like that.
You just a really hard one.
No, just any Sudoku. Sudoku, in and of itself, is the pinnacle of human achievement when it comes to intelligence.
I don't know if you're like this, but I get like really into puzzles when I play a lot of like a particular puzzle.
Okay.
So I have this game on my phone called Flow Free, which is you have to connect up dots of different colours on a grid, and the lines aren't allowed to cross each other.
Okay.
And it sounds quite simple at first. Then when you actually go and play it, it's a little bit more tricky. But I was playing loads and loads of this at one stage, just because, I'd play it on the bus or whatever. And then when I went to sleep, or when I went to try and go to sleep, I would have like visions of like different configurations of the board and how they'd work and how you could like solve certain spatial problems on the board.
It's funny that you bring this up, right? Because I've been experiencing a very similar thing recently.
With what?
With Tetris.
Oh yeah, oh my god, Tetris, yeah. Tetris is a good game for that, I think, because it is so visual and so kind of so patterny.
Yeah, like the combinations, like good Tetris players will learn combinations. And so I find myself before I go to sleep, thinking about the various combinations, like what blocks fit on the yellow block in what manner. And then I end up doing this so much that I end up dreaming about them at night. And so it was the night before last, I had a big Tetris dream. Like I woke up in the morning feeling like I had just like gone 10 rounds with Ali, except, in a Tetris sense.
But I get it very much with Sudoku.
Really?
Yeah, I get it with Sudoku. Like I'll like be going to sleep and I'll have visions of Sudoku boards and patterns and stuff.
Oh wow, you operate on a much higher level than I do. I don't think I could do that. There's too many variables for me to be able to visualize that in Sudoku. Oh yeah, no, I could never do that.
Really?
Yeah, that sounds impossible.
See, for me, I always think like, no, I haven't tried them, but you see the Sudoku puzzles with kind of extra limitations, like colored zones within the squares, or colored zones going between squares. And that just sounds to me like it makes it easier because you've more criteria on which to eliminate possibilities.
Right, but how does that tie into your visualization?
No, that there's too many variables, and what I'm saying is the fact that there's more variables seems to make it easier because you've more bases on which to disallow certain decisions.
Yeah, but you also have more criteria to visualize as well.
Oh yeah, I see your point. Like I don't visualize full boards. I visualize kind of areas and like certain patterns and certain relationships. I don't like visualize the whole 81 squares or whatever.
Okay, because so I will visualize the entire Tetris board.
Yeah.
When I'm playing, right? So that's I made a mistake there. So I was putting how I think about Tetris onto how you think about Sudoku. But
I don't visualize the whole like 91 squares and every connection between them.
I feel like I'd be exhausted after 5
81.
minutes of trying to do that.
But you see, it's not that I'm trying to do it. It's just like it'll be in my head. If I've been thinking about it loads from doing the puzzle, like then when I go and I'm idle, it'll kind of just like still be the wheel will still be spinning, throwing out ideas.
Anyways, Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Let's do this. We're an hour into recording. Oh Lord, and we've yet to get the bit that I'm going to rant something serious about. So Bill.
So you enjoyed Starship Mine then?
Oh yeah, so much. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. So Bill set me the task of watching a Star Trek The Next Generation episode called Starship Mine, which I think was season 6, episode 18.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll link to this in the show notes. And I would advise anyone to pause here and go watch the episode first, because if the last time is anything to go by, I don't think we're going to do a very good job of clearly stating what the premise of the show is. All right? So,
well, I can have a go at that right now.
Yeah, no, well, you did a good job. I did not. I always derail these things, Bill, right? So I would advise people to go watch it and come back here to our little corner of the internet and listen to us complain about it.
Well,
some of us. So, needless to say, Bill thought this was a good episode. I did not. And I watched it again last night, Bill.
Did you?
Boy, was it horrible.
Why did you do that?
Because I had watched it several times in the lead up to the first attempt at recording this podcast. And that was like, was that a week ago or 2 weeks ago we had attempted to record this?
2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago, right?
It was the 25th.
Right, so it's been 2 weeks since I've watched it. And I was like, I'm definitely not going to be able to speak well about this without having the details fresh in my mind. So I had to go off and watch it again, Bill. And boy, did it not increase in quality. So do you want to give the people a rundown on what you think a brief summary of this episode is?
Okay. The Enterprise is going in for some sort of repairs in a kind of a dry dock. I think it's called a baryon sweep.
It is.
And the baryon sweep will kill a kind of organic matter or something to this effect. It's lethal to humans anyway, or to sentient life. So it's in the dock, and this crew are all transported down to the surface of the planet. And Picard the crew are all at a function hosted by an extremely boring Starfleet officer who is stationed on this planet. And Picard hears that there is horse riding available. So he returns to the Enterprise before the baryon sweep begins to get his saddle so he can go horse riding. But as he's there, he discovers that mercenaries or terrorists, some form of baddie, have stowed onto the ship under the guise of maintenance workers and are planning some kind of plot, like to destroy the ship or to plant a bomb or something like that. And he is the only Starfleet person left aboard the ship, and he must defeat them and save the Enterprise before they carry out their plot and before he himself is killed by the baryon sweep.
Yep, that's a very good summary of what went on. So, the reason why, listeners, this is a terrible episode of Star Trek, and no matter what Bill says, it's terrible, is that this is effectively Die Hard in space. I hate Die Hard. Like, with a passion.
So wrong. so wrong.
And then, let it be noted, 1 hour, 7 minutes, the point where everyone stops listening to this podcast. No, I don't get Die Hard. It's just a lot of explosions and a lot of macho-ness that I just don't understand. And they put this in Star Trek. Picard effectively plays John McClane in this episode. And it just destroys everything that is good about Star Trek for me. What's your retort, Bill?
I like this episode on a number of levels. I really like Patrick Stewart. I think Patrick Stewart is a really cool guy. I really like Picard.
Uh-huh.
He's a great character. I really like Die Hard.
Can I, back up a second. Why is Picard great?
I don't know what it is about him. He's just a kind of a compelling individual, and his sort of resoluteness and the fact he's Patrick Stewart doesn't hurt. I can't put into words exactly what it is I like about him.
I'll tell you why Patrick Stewart's great. Why Picard is great. Okay?
Why is that?
It's because he's intelligent. He represents a higher form of human evolution. Throughout the entire Star Trek, the Next Generation episodes, or series, should I say, he has always represented a person that will overcome all situations with intelligence and calmness and never really resort to violence. And this episode completely tore that apart because Picard goes all MacGyver on them. And it's all about, like, macho-ness and, oh no, it ruins everything that makes Picard great.
I just like seeing that he was capable of that when necessary. That he was still, like, personally a badass. And that he does have that capability within him when it is required, as it was required in the context of this episode.
Okay, fair point, but I think it undermines Roddenberry's vision of the future. You know? Yeah,
but I mean, I don't think he has an exclusive right to how everything in the Star Trek universe takes place. And it's not like there hasn't been a load of other stuff that did that as well. Like the existence of the Maquis.
Oh, who are these now?
They come up later in DS9 and Voyager, I think. They're like they're anti-Starfleet kind of human resistance group, essentially.
Oh, I'm just through the first season of Deep Space Nine, so
cool.
I don't know about these people. I've never watched Deep Space Nine and Beyond. Actually, I've only ever watched the original series and the Next Generation, so I've started doing that now. So,
what are you making of DS9 so far?
DS9 is great. I really like DS9. I was skeptical because the idea that they would be stationary didn't sit well with me. Like, they weren't able to go travels across the galaxy and things like that. The fact that all the action had to come to Deep Space Nine didn't sit well with me. But
Yeah.
it works out absolutely fine. Like, it's really, really cool. And it's dark and it's gritty. And Cisco. Now, if Cisco was in Picard's position in Starship Mine, I would have been like, fine, good, great, that's perfect. But not Picard, Bill. Not Picard.
Yeah, Cisco's a cool character. Do you know about like Cisco's backstory and his like kind of relationship with Picard?
Yeah, in the first episode they go through it. He doesn't like Picard because Picard became Borg for a bit.
Yeah, at the Battle of Wolf 359.
Which I found terrible. I was like, that's irrational. He didn't like go, oh, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join the Borg because that would be a great idea. He was taken by force. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah, but like in fairness, the dude lost his wife at Wolf 359. It's not exactly the moment for super reason.
Yeah, but this is the difference between Picard and Cisco. I think Cisco is that represents the more kind of like rawness of the human condition, where Picard represents sort of like the logical and like the morally correct thing to do sort of thing. So I think Picard, if roles were reversed, Picard I think would have accepted it. Where Cisco was more kind of, raucous in his hate. Cisco would have been a perfect character to be put aboard the Enterprise in Starship Mine, I think. But even within the Next Generation, Bill, they could have put Worf aboard the Enterprise to go all MacGyver and John McClane and defeat the terrorists.
I know, but Picard's the captain. The captain has the ultimate responsibility for it. That's part of what I liked about it.
Oh, no, I know. It really stuck out with me as well because, like, they dismiss Worf from the episode, Like, I think that's why it particularly didn't sit well with me, because they, like, deliberately make a point of getting rid of Worf because he asked to be excused from the reception on the planet.
Right.
And you don't see him again ever in the episode until the very end when he recovers Picard's saddle. The fact that they made a point of like Worf is not here to do this kind of made me think Worf should be here to do this.
Right, it made it seem like they were shoehorning it.
Yeah, a little bit. And then further on that, sorry, this is going to be an awful lot of bashing of this episode because, I really didn't like it. If I was the captain of a starship, right? Like the flagship for Starfleet, okay?
Yeah.
And it was in a dry dock with all systems powered off. So effectively defenseless, right? And the crew would be many, many, many thousands of kilometers away. I would try and ensure that there is some level of security on the Enterprise. Now, you can't leave people, obviously, because the baryon sweep is deadly to organic matter. But you could leave data on board. Why not leave data just sitting there? Like, the whole poor story, Bill, did not have to happen. Oh!
That's a pretty good point.
Yeah, so I wasn't a fan. I did like Commander Hutchinson.
Was he the real boring guy?
He's the boring guy with small talk, and I loved the interplay between him and Data, which was proper funny. Like, Data was trying to perfect the art of small talk.
Right.
And so he mimics Hutchinson, and the two of them are so similar they end up getting on like a house on fire. Like, and like for what seems like in the show hours, they just bang on at each other about the most useless of points ever. And it's hilarious because neither one actually ever listens to the other one.
Wonderful.
They just talk at one another. It's so funny. But then they mess it up as well, Bill, because Hutchinson gets hit by a phaser and then he just disappears from the show as well. Like, inexplicably, suddenly he's gone. And it's like, why are you doing this to me, writers? Why are you aggravating me?
Another little neat bit of trivia about the show.
Go for it.
Is one of the mercenaries is played by Tim Russ.
Yes.
Who would later play Tuvok, who was, I think, the security officer in Voyager.
And Voyager, yeah. I haven't seen Voyager, but I have read this. The internet tells me these things. Voyager
has about 4 episodes.
Go on.
It has 4 episodes. There's the one with the away mission, the one where there's a crisis aboard Voyager, weird ones with Q, and then there's like a medical emergency. There's like 4 distinct episodes that they just recycle and recycle and recycle and recycle.
2 points on that. One,
what?
I like the premise for Voyager. I think the premise is really cool. Like, it's like...
as in that they're, like, away in the Delta Quadrant or whatever.
Yeah, and they're just like,
Yeah, that's fine.
make a beeline for home. Just go for it. And it's cool because it's like the antithesis of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting point, yeah.
Which I think is really good. And the second point I wanted to say is that, boy, do I also dislike Q.
Really?
Like, most times I see Q, the urge to turn off the episode comes pretty fast. Like, I don't like him. I know it's in his character. I don't like his arrogance and his smugness. And this is going to sound terrible, but I don't like the actor that plays him. I don't like the way he looks. He just looks grimy and smug, and I just want to be like, no, stop. just go away.
You really hate the Q episodes in Voyager, then?
Can I propose a system? Can I propose a rewrite of the Starship Mine script? Okay, to you.
You can propose whatever you want, Edgar.
And then will you tell me what you think of it?
Okay.
Okay, now this is just me ad-libbing here. I haven't planned this. It's just popped into my head. So, here's the premise. The Enterprise is in dry dock, undergoing the baryon sweep. Okay?
Yep.
Just like in Starship Mine. Everyone has been transported down to the surface, including Picard. Okay?
Including Data?
Okay. Do we keep... Let's keep Data on board. Data stays on board as a security measure. Yes, here we go. And everyone else is down on the surface at the reception, Commander Hutchinson's reception. The same stuff with the small talk, you could incorporate that with a different character, say. With Hutchinson. I don't know how you could work that, but you can make it happen, because I like the small talk. I do like the small talk. But we need Data on the start.
Wesley.
Oh man, I hate Wesley as well. And anyways, he hasn't shown up in weeks. Wesley's like Q. Q and Wesley look very similar. Both of them irritate me. Just the actors. Sorry, Will Wheaton, but you just have a very annoying face. And
But he's lovely now.
He's got a really nice YouTube channel. He does like
tabletop.
Yeah, tabletop games, which is class. Really class. Anyhow, don't derail me, Bill. I will derail myself, okay? don't derail me. So, Data's on board, everyone else is below. No one wants to be there, but they can't find a reasonable excuse to get back on board, okay?
Okay.
Right. Data is doing rounds on the Enterprise. Mm-hmm. Just scanning and checking things, and then he notices that some people are still on board, okay? So he tries to communicate down to the surface, and he can't, because the baryon sweep is interrupting his communicator. Okay?
Fair enough.
Which is what is stated in Starship Mine anyways. And so he does a little bit of tech magic and makes modifies a frequency that only his send signal and receive signal can be exchanged. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay? So he's able to communicate down, okay? And obviously he will want Captain's permission to be able to do certain things because, Captain's orders, and it's the Captain's ship. Okay?
Right.
Yes, you with me?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. Right. So then basically what ensues, right, would be a fight between Data's logic, like cold logic, like unhuman logic in a way, to resolve the situation. And you could have periodic interchanges with him and Picard, where Picard uses his extreme intelligence and cunning to get Data to resolve the situation in an imperfectly peaceful manner. And I think that would paint Picard as a total badass, because he could be thousands of kilometers removed, right, and still convince an android to do the morally correct and intelligent things to do.
That would be pretty badass.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Would you watch that over MacGyver Picard?
McLean Picard.
I'm gonna call him MacGyver because he makes his own arrows and he does a whole load of ad hoc things, and that represents the macho-ness of this episode.
Like when he hits Tim Russ with a saddle.
Yeah. Listeners, if you haven't watched this, there is a point. Picard says, I need to go back to the Enterprise to get my saddle. And it's portrayed as this in joke that is just a stupid excuse for him to leave the reception and not be around the guy who talks too much. But it turns out he actually legitimately has a saddle on the Enterprise, like a proper big ass saddle. And then he meets
Big old leather saddle.
Big old leather saddle. And then he meets the first terrorist and effectively defeats the terrorist by throwing a saddle at him, which is just, it is quite funny. I'm going to admit that's a very good moment.
It's satisfying. That would be satisfying to me in a different way than Starship Mine currently is. And it would, I accept that it would make more sense in the context of Picard's character. But I don't know, I really like Die Hard, and I really like this kind of thing that happened in media in the 90s, that a lot of things did Die Hard.
Yeah.
Like Starship Mine, and I think one of my favourite examples is Air Force One with Harrison Ford, where
Die Hard on an airplane.
Die Hard on Air Force One, and the John McClane character is Harrison Ford, who is the President of the United States. And the bad guy is Gary Oldman.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That is a stupid movie.
I didn't realise that this Die Hard on an X was a trope until you pointed it out. And then I went down the wormhole of looking at these things, and oh my god, everything has a Die Hard on whatever.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Can I ask the listeners if they're interested? Tell me first of all on the subreddit or by email what you thought of this episode if you watched it, and who you agree with, me or Bill. Because, clearly this is a popularity contest. And then the second point is, if you didn't like it, suggest a rewrite. I'd love to know how people would go about changing it to fit what they think are the ideal Star Trek characters. That'd be really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, and one final point on this. Sorry, I'm talking loads, but I'm nearly done. At one point, this is a really cool thing in the episode. Picard takes down the first terrorist with the Vulcan pinch. Did you notice
does
this?
he?
Yeah, he does. And then I thought about that and went, what? How does he know the Vulcan pinch? And then suddenly a whole raft of lore popped into my head, which is great. If a show can trigger you to remember the world building or the lore building behind it, it's a good thing. Yeah, because he mind melded with Spock's father in a previous episode.
What?
Yeah. Because Spock's father was suffering from an old age disease that Vulcans get, where they become emotional.
Right.
And Spock's father couldn't allow this to happen because he had to do this treaty or whatever, and he had to remain strictly logical. So Picard offered himself up and was like, here, look, you mind meld with me and you take my mental stability for the duration of this like treaty meeting. So he became one with Spock's father. So he obviously would have picked up some Vulcan things from him. And also, he met Spock on Romulus before, and they spent a lot of time together. So maybe perhaps Spock taught him how to do the Vulcan pinch, which was great. When that happened in Starship Mine, it triggered so much lore. It was awesome. Really good.
That's cool.
That is actually really cool. That is the highlight of that episode for me. I thought that was brilliant.
And this thing about him meeting Spock, did that happen in the episode, or in an episode, or is it just in the backstory? Or
no, it happened in 2 episodes. It's a pretty big deal because they made a 2-part episode of it.
Okay.
It's where Spock has been spotted on Romulus, and Starfleet think that he is a traitor. And he's gone over to the Romulan side. But really what he was doing was he was undercover over there to investigate the idea that like normal Romulan people want to reconnect with the Vulcans.
Right.
So he was on a peace and ambassadorial mission over there. And so Picard and the crew are sent in covertly to find the traitor Spock. But then they find out his mission and, they're sympathetic towards it and they help him out and things like that. It was great to watch Picard and Leonard Nimoy together. Awesome.
They're very sad because Leonard Nimoy passed there about a week ago, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He lives long and prospers no more.
That is so Federation, though, that like their Black Ops missions are like Black Ops diplomacy.
yeah, isn't it? It's great.
Okay, right. Speaking of going live, Edgar, next episode is going to be live, isn't it? This is our final pre-recorded episode before the launch.
This is our final pre-recorded episode. Yes, the next episode we will be live, which is kind of weird to say, Bill, isn't it? Because you're not really
Yeah.
live. It's not like we're streaming live at the internet right now, but we're
No.
as live as a podcast can be.
We're waiting eagerly for anyone to click play so we can begin talking.
Yeah, this is true. Where our entire lives are sat in front of our laptops, just waiting for that solitary person to come along and hit the play button.
Yeah.
But yes, listeners, we are live. Episode 4 will be current and up to date. And so I thought what would be a good idea is if we remind you of how to get in contact with the show. So you can leave us your comments, feedback, suggest improvements, all that sort of thing. Good idea, Bill?
Sounds good to me.
Cool. So the subreddit, Bill, is up and running.
Is it?
It is up and running. Well,
I'm going to subscribe right now.
You can't. It's on private.
All right.
Yeah, I have it on
Well,
private.
I knew that already.
But yeah, so the subreddit is up and running. I have a few minor tweaks to do before it officially goes live and off private. But that's the best place, listeners, where you can find us. Both me and Bill will do our best to be as active as we possibly can in the comments on the subreddit. So head on over there if you want to talk to us. That will be r/Artifexian. Yeah?
Excellent.
Cool. You can email the show at edgar@artifexian.com.
And that will reach both of us, even though it says to Edgar in the title. It is an account that both of us can access and reply to.
Yeah, like we said in the first episode, Edgar's not good at naming things. Not good. Anyhow, so you can subreddit, email. You can obviously find me through my usual routes, which is my Artifexian Facebook, www.facebook.com/Artifexian. You can tweet at me as well, which is, at Artifexian. So there's all the ways you can contact us, guys. We look forward to hearing from you. Please leave stuff in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you in the near future.
Absolutely. Edgar out. So when you're doing the regular videos, do you just use the mic on your camera?
No, when I'm doing the regular videos, I use the podcasting mic.
Sorry, can you take that out? Because that is such a stupid question that I just asked.
Man, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
No, dude, that was moronic of
Well,
me.
I'm going to have to take it out because you swore.
Yeah. That
There
was
you go.
my plan all along,
You never know, that could make the extra section though, Bill.